Some leaders are corrupt, lie to the people they are charged to protect, and then find associates who will support their evil ways. What can be done to end this dishonesty? God will judge and punish corrupt leaders and prophets. Today's key verse reads, "But truly I am full of power by the Spirit of the Lord, and of judgment, and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression, and to Israel his sin." Micah chapter 3, verse 8. The Neo-Assyrian Empire was a very dominant and real threat to Jerusalem at Micah's time. One of the many ways Jerusalem prepared for the conflict was to strengthen the economy so they would have the necessary resources to fight off both foreign and domestic threats. As today's lesson suggests, the ways they pursued economic stability were immoral and did not align with the precepts of the Lord. Their stimulus plan was based on greed, exploitation, and senseless taxes, and as a result, moral corruption slowly crept in. The rulers and leaders convinced themselves that their methods of governing were necessary because of the impending dangers. If you do something long enough, it becomes a part of who you are. Thus, treachery soon became merely business as usual. The culture spread, and soon landowners began taking advantage of farmers. The poor were subjugated, and they had no social or economic power to resist. One of the ironies of this era is that individually and collectively, the people claimed to depend on God, whom they knew and believed to be the ultimate lover of justice. However, the leaders were cynical and perverted righteousness. The false prophets vex and oppress the people by offering prophecies for money. Shalom, or peace, is sandwiched between two acts of violence, fighting and war, making it an even more deceptive promise for the people. The prophet's message of peace is their selling point. They tell the people that everything will be well and receive the people's money and applause. However, this is a false peace. Those who will not give to them will be the objects of their hostility. Micah declares his distinction from the false prophets. He says that he is full of power by the Spirit of the Lord. He is also full of judgment and might. The prophet continues to personalize the accusation against Judah. In the name of religion and sacrifice to God, the people have erected buildings using perverse and deceitful means. Instead of using tithes and offerings to establish places of worship, the religious leaders have taken from the poor and, in some instances, killed to expand Jerusalem. Micah contends that Judah's leadership has turned away from the Lord. Those in power only want to be compensated by humankind for what God has gifted and instructed them to do. Rulers give judgment for a bribe, priests teach for a price, and prophets give oracles for money. Micah stresses the greed and insatiable materialism pervading Judah. These leaders, however, believe that what they do is good and pleasing in the eyes of the Lord. They are convinced that since Zion is the dwelling place of God, and that since the Hebrews are God's chosen people, all is well, and their transgressions can be overlooked. The leaders, despite their unscrupulous conduct, believe that God will protect them because of his faithfulness and promises. The people do not see the error of their ways. They are so obstinate and spiritually blind that they are convinced that because the Lord dwells in Zion, no harm can come to them, even when they sin against God. Because Judah has become prideful and sinful, the Lord, through Micah, predicts its ensuing destruction. Micah and Jeremiah were foretelling the captivity of Judah by the Babylonians and the exile afterward. It can be very difficult to speak against leadership at any level. Some people naturally believe that if someone has been given a title or responsibility, they have integrity and will maintain the best interest of the people they represent. However, the Bible and life have provided us with many examples of leaders who have ill intentions, succumb to temptation, and take advantage of their positions. As children of God, our instructions are to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with our God. Every group that we are members of, our country, civic organization, religious institution, should follow the same statutes. Thank you for listening and subscribing to iLights. May the peace of God, which passes all understanding, keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus.